Hey guys, this Halloween I decided to do something a little different. Now, I have several friends who claim to have had paranormal experiences, one of whom you're going to hear from in this video. Now, I'm going to admit right up front that I'm very much on the fence about whether or not I believe in ghosts. Like, I want to believe, but I also acknowledge that a lot of these supposed encounters with ghosts that we hear about probably have logical explanations. So, I consider myself to be more of an open-minded skeptic. That being said, me and my friend who you're going to hear from were at a cemetery recently that's rumored to be haunted, and while we were there, and keep in mind we were there at like 2 o'clock in the morning, he claims that he definitely felt something there, and he even claims to have seen something. Personally, I didn't see anything, but I did feel very uneasy being there. Granted, that could have all been psychological, because, again, we were there at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and if you're anywhere, especially a graveyard at 2 o'clock in the morning, it is a little creepy regardless of whether it's haunted or not. That being said, I did take some pictures on my phone, and later on I brightened up the images, and some of the pictures actually do have some weird things in them, but I'll admit they could probably be explained. I'm only going to show one of the pictures. But here's the picture. Now, I'll fully admit that that could be anything. That could even be a physical object out in the distance, so I'll never try to pass this off as a legitimate ghost photo, but I truly don't know what that is. I was there again almost a week later. This time I was with a whole group of people, so I didn't feel as uneasy because I was with a lot more people this time, but I will say when I was there, I did feel a weird pressure down in my legs, and again, that could have all been psychological. But while we were there, this picture was taken. This is not my photo, and I actually don't know the person who took this photo that well. He's more of a friend of a friend. So I have no way of knowing whether or not this photo is faked, but I will say if this photo is not doctored, I have no way of explaining what the hell this is. But in the photo, you can see what looks like the outline of a little boy in a hat. But again, that could have been faked. I'll admit that. But now you're going to hear from my friend Chris. Now, this is not the Chris who's been in some of my other videos. This is actually a guy I went to high school with, and he told me this story about something that happened to him after he was messing around at Pilgrim State. Now, for those of you who aren't from Long Island, Pilgrim State is this mostly abandoned psychiatric hospital. I say mostly because I believe some of the buildings are still in operation, but most of the buildings on this property are abandoned. We also have a similar abandoned psychiatric hospital in Kings Park. But again, this is his story. This is actually the first of several stories that he's told me, and I have no way of knowing how true or untrue this story is, but I do believe that he at least believes it. But take it with a grain of salt if you want. If you don't believe in any of this stuff, I hope you can still enjoy it as a spooky little horror story.
Talk about some of your experiences.
Alright. So, one experience that I had is when I went to Pilgrim State. There's a lot of things that went on in Pilgrim State, a lot of history behind it. There's a lot of people that went missing. There's a lot of records of people that attended to these clinics and these buildings, and they went missing. You know, there's no traces of them. There's no papers behind them. There's no work, and to this day, a few people are trying to look up their old relatives who attended in this location. Now it's been several years since it's been afloat. It's been abandoned. Kids from Brentwood High School and all schools go over there just to intermingle. This was when I graduated, somewhere between 2010 and 11. I went over there with my friend Willie, Alex, and Wilson. As I went to Pilgrim State, we decided to go into a grassy field area. This is after we hidden our vehicles there. It's not really legal for us to go into these buildings. Police patrol them a lot. It's not uncommon for kids to walk around these crazy places. And it's not uncommon to have homeless people and illegal immigrants being there as well. They hide over there. So we kind of huddled, military style, and try to keep ourselves on our knees and try to go through these grassy plains to get to this building, which is no longer in service. It's been demolished. And as I was going through the field with my friends and everything, I myself started feeling a bit heavy-shouldered, like as if I was working out. And after you're done, you feel very fatigued, your muscles are tired. My shoulders particularly felt like I've been carrying a huge weight over me. And I kept that disclosed from my friends. I thought it was just a me thing. And we did do a lot of unnecessary work. There was better ways to get into this building. But I just assumed it was the amount of crawling and things that I was doing to get to this building. As we got into the building, there was nothing scary. We adventured all over the place. Afterwards, the conversations I have with my friends, which surprised me, they also feel this feeling, the feeling of the soreness of the shoulders and a lot of fatigue. This is us already visiting the building. This is us getting our whatever fix that we were messing around with, whatever type of scary things we were trying to adventure. This was after that. This is when we were out of the building, we're by the cars again, and we're kind of disclosing how we felt. And we all felt very similar. We all felt like the heaviness in the shoulders. A month passed, and I would hear stories of my friends call me periodically. They'll tell me they saw something weird. One of my friends said they saw a shadow. Now, I went to Pilgrim State, and I've never seen anything supernatural or felt anything supernatural or anything, and I'm pretty sure everybody at this point just go there just to mess around. And I was wrong, because I thought my friends were pulling a prank on me, and I found out the hard way. I was paying a visit to my friend Daniel, with two other friends of mine. Another one, Herman, and James. Oh, actually, Zabe was there as well. Wasn't in the same room. So they all three of these guys came along with me to visit Dan. We usually stay over at his house. We play video games. We were sleeping over there, and where I was sleeping over, nobody was awake. I was the only one that woke up at this time. I was sleeping towards the door. Herman was sleeping on the side. Daniel was sleeping, so let's just say this was the door. I was sleeping here. Daniel's bed was here. James was in the side. And Herman was like towards the other end. There was a nightlight. As I woke up, I saw a shadow of a figure casted in the wall. Something similar to this, a shadow in the wall. And as I turned, I'm looking at the shadow, and it's pointing to my friend Dan. It's pointing straight at his shadow, towards his nose, like an arm extending and pointing towards his nose. I wanted to scream. I felt very freaked out. I held it in. I told everybody afterwards. I woke everybody up calmly afterwards. I didn't over exaggerate it. I did end up eventually waking everybody up at night. Dan's mom, Dan's grandmother as well. And I told them about the story and everything. Nobody believed me. I thought my friends have been bullcrapping. My other friends that I went to Pilgrim State, I thought they've been lying to me the whole time. I didn't know that, trying to get me scared, telling me small things about the shadow and whatever they experienced. I didn't experience anything for that month that passed by until when I went over to my friend Dan's house. So the whole entire time of me being in Pilgrim State, not really believing in anything that happens over there, no supernatural things happen there, like that was a wake-up call.